They left for a weekend retreat, a mountain escape. 2 parents, 2 children, smiles in the final photo. 3 weeks later, their names became a whisper in the forest. No tent, no car, not a trace. Until a motion-activated wildlife camera snapped on at 3:16 a.m. and caught something. Watching back. Ben the father, a wilderness guide, turned software engineer. Calm, logical, raised in the Smokies. Lana, his wife, former school counselor, intuitive, known for journaling everything. Their 2 kids, Maddie, 10, and Kai, 6, loved trees made forts out of anything believed bears were just big dogs with no collars. They weren't reckless. In fact, they planned everything. Their last known location was Trailhead 43 in the Cascade mountain range. They checked in with park rangers, left a voicemail for Lana's sister at 7:44 a.m. Then they vanished. The first red flag came when Lana didn't show up for work on Monday. Then Ben missed a remote meeting. A welfare check led to their empty home. The ranger station confirmed the Larkins had never checked out. That's when search and rescue teams mobilized. The footage was only 3 seconds. It blinked on at 3:16 a.m. One still figure, no movement. The body small, likely a child. Arms at sides, eyes wide. The timestamp blinked once, then the file corrupted. Wildlife authorities passed the footage to law enforcement. But when federal teams arrived 2 days later, the camera and its SD card were missing. The original ranger who downloaded the footage, Marcus Lee, was placed on leave after a data protocol violation. He refused interviews, later moved out of state. But Carolina's sister had made a copy. She uploaded it to a private drive and sent it to a retired tracker named Nathan Reyes. Reyes had worked in that forest for 23 years. When he saw the footage, he didn't flinch. He whispered, "This has happened before." A couple named Patterson and their daughter Emily vanished on a weekend retreat just 11 miles east of where the Larkins disappeared. No bodies, no belongings. The only thing recovered, a roll of undeveloped film found in a hollowed-out tree 6 months later. The last photo on the roll showed Emily standing still at night, just like the camera footage. Same posture, same wide eyes, same carved symbol behind her on a tree trunk. Reyes led a quiet search, not with dogs, not with drones. He followed wind patterns, animal scat, fungus trails, and he found something no one had marked on the maps, a dip in the terrain where wildlife never entered, a kind of dead zone. Inside, moss grew too fast, birdsong stopped, compasses spun, and in the middle stood a canvas structure rotted at the base but still upright. No windows, no lock. Inside, 4 distinct child-sized footprints, none more than 48 hours old. A tin lunchbox with a label Mom, a child's shirt with Kai Larkins stitched on the inside, and a torn paper note written in pencil with 7 shaky words. It wasn't a person. It watches wrong. That same night, the forest was evacuated for fire risk. No fire was ever reported. When the site was revisited, the shelter was gone. Kara went public with the footage. The internet exploded. Theories ranged from cult activity to government cover-up to something not quite human. But the most chilling clue came from the audio. Reyes isolated the track beneath the 3-second clip. It wasn't wildlife. It was a whisper, layered like multiple voices at once. The words were faint but traceable. Follow the trail, not the lights. 2 weeks later, a child was spotted, near dusk, half a mile from a ranger outpost. A woman named Teresa Duell, hiking with her dog, swore she saw a little girl standing barefoot in the tree line. The girl turned, raised one finger to her lips, and vanished into the fog. Kara returned to the forest, this time with Reyes, and one mission: bring them home or learn the truth trying. What they found next changed everything. Kara didn't tell anyone she was going back. Not even her husband, not the press, just Reyes. They entered the Cascade perimeter at 6:04 a.m., not through the trailhead, but along an abandoned fire road from the 1980s, overgrown and long erased from official maps. Reyes didn't bring a gun, just a compass that spun. "We're not here to fight," he said. "We're here to listen." The deeper they walked, the quieter the world became. Birds stopped. Wind died. It wasn't silence. It was compression, like the forest was holding its breath. At 4.7 miles in, Reyes raised his hand. Smell that. It wasn't rot. It was sugar. Like hot syrup, sweet and sour. Like fruit left too long in the sun. They reached a clearing. There in the center was a circle of stones. Inside it, toys. Not fresh, not new. Weather-worn. A doll with melted hair. A plastic dinosaur. A sock with a sun on it. Kara gasped. That's Maddie's sock. She had a pair just like it. Then Reyes pointed. At the center of the ring, a spiral pattern drawn into the dirt finger width, perfect, intentional, and burned into the nearest tree. Stay in the dark. Stay in the line. That night, they didn't camp. They huddled near a ridge, too afraid to sleep. At 2:11 a.m., something moved beyond the tree line. Not loud, not aggressive, but measured. A shape small, maybe child-sized. No flashlight, no gear. Kara whispered. Maddie. The figure turned, eyes reflecting moonlight. It lifted one hand slowly, the same signal the woman hiker had described. A finger to the lips. Then it walked backwards into the trees and vanished. When they followed at dawn, they found no trail. Only one object placed at the base of a moss-covered stump, a laminated card from a school library checkout. It read Kai Larkins' first-grade due Oct 17-2018. There was a smudge of red across the corner. Not blood, red clay. Only found on the eastern slope of Crater Ridge where no paths go. Reyes knew what it meant. The kids are alive, or were, but this place doesn't move like we do. Kara didn't ask what he meant. She didn't want to know, not yet. They returned with a private search team, 6 volunteers. No government, no press, just people who believed. 2 turned back within hours. 1 got lost for a full day despite GPS and flag markers. And 1, a 19-year-old survivalist named Jay, found a cave near the clay slope. Inside charcoal drawings, stick figures, a spiral, a bus, and the word mama written 12 times in uneven lines. Jay said he heard humming. No one else did. They left the cave marked recorded coordinates, came back with 2 more. The drawings were gone. Then, a breakthrough. A wildlife camera rigged to record audio captured this, rustling, then static. Then a child's voice, faint. We followed the lights. Then they watched us sleep. A pause. It took Dad first. Kara collapsed when she heard it. It was Maddie's voice, no doubt. The same tone as in her old birthday videos. The little stutter before hard consonants. The S that always hissed just a little too long. Maddie, still alive or close enough for a whisper. And then came the drawing. Left anonymously out of the ranger station one morning. No one saw who left it. But on the back was scrawled in block letters, I'll walk out when it's safe. Don't follow yet. You're being watched, too. The anonymous drawing was simple. Crude crayon lines likely from a child. 4 stick figures. 2 adults. 2 children. All holding hands. But the sky above them was black. Filled with spiral shapes and tiny yellow dots labeled Watchers. On the back, written in Maddie's unmistakable child scrawl, don't come in deep. They hear metal. They don't like questions. We only survived because we stopped asking. Kara knew what that meant. They were still alive somehow, but trapped, not by force, by fear. The forest wasn't a prison. It was a deal. Reyes contacted an old friend from his ranger days, a man named Tom Ketter, who'd been quietly collecting reports like this since 1988. Tom had built his own private map, one never shown to the public. A topography not of rivers and ridges, but of interference, radio blackouts, missing persons, unusual moss growth, dead birds falling in circles, echo loops. At the center of this interference web, Crater Ridge, where the Larkins had disappeared, where others had too. Tom said something no one else dared speak out loud. This place, it doesn't want them. It's watching what we'll do to get them back. Kara made her decision. She would go in alone, not with gear, not with noise, not with maps or metal, just a voice, just memories. And a promise. She entered the forest on June 3rd, exactly 4 years to the day after the Larkins disappeared. She wore Lana's bracelet, carried only a satchel with drawings, notes, and a locket that once held Maddie's baby hair. She walked slowly, spoke softly, called no names. But at dusk, she hummed the same song Lana used to sing in Lullaby. Over the pines and under the moon, my love will find you soon. And the forest answered, not with a figure, not with a sound, but with movement. Leaves bent where there was no wind. A trail appeared where there was no path. And just ahead, a flicker, not a flashlight. A small flickering glow. Blue, pale, like a lantern made of breath. Kara followed. She walked for hours, unsure of time. The sun never fully set. The light never fully rose. She entered a clearing. Empty but not wrong, like something had just left, or was just about to arrive. In the middle of the clearing, a circle of stones. At the center, a photo. It was laminated, slightly curled at the corners. It showed Lana, Ben, Maddie, and Kai, taken on the trailhead the day they vanished. But someone with small, uneven writing had added 4 words in permanent marker. "We're okay, not done yet." And then from the tree line, a whisper. Aunt Kara. Her heart froze. She turned and saw Maddie. Not a ghost, not a hallucination, but older, paler, eyes sunken, but standing, alive. She stepped forward, but Maddie shook her head. "Not yet. It lets us out one at a time. You have to tell the story first. If people know, it can't keep us all." Kara fell to her knees. Maddie placed something in her hand, the same sock from before, tied in a knot, wrapped around a scrap of journal page from Lana. The words read, "If this reaches you, tell them the mountain isn't broken. It remembers. Just don't let it forget us." And with that, Maddie stepped back, disappeared into the trees. Kara wept until dawn, and when she emerged from the woods that morning, exhausted, torn barefoot, she held the photo above her head, whispering, "They're not gone. They're waiting. We have to remember." Kara didn't give interviews, not at first. She declined morning talk shows, book deals, and a Netflix inquiry within 48 hours of her return. Instead, she sat in her sister's quiet house, lit 1 candle for each family member, and waited. For something. For anything. She held on to the sock, reread the journal scrap. "Tell them the mountain isn't broken. It remembers." 3 weeks later, she received a package in the mail. No return address. Inside, a cassette tape wrapped in tinfoil. A Polaroid of Kai slightly older than when he vanished, holding a pine cone and grinning. And a sticky note written in neat block letters. "We're learning how to come back, but someone has to stay until the story's told." The audio on the tape was static at first, then faint humming, then Kai's voice trembling high, determined. "If you're hearing this, tell Mama I kept her rocks. Tell Dad I still remember his campfire jokes. We're not scared anymore. But don't bring lights. The lights aren't stars." Kara broke her silence. She released the recording to an online archive of unexplained wilderness events. Not for fame, for documentation. She called it the Echo Ledger. It became a place where families posted notes, drawings, strange forest encounters, not as conspiracy, but as continuity. Evidence that remembering was survival. Each year on June 3rd, people hike to the Cascade boundary. They leave behind hand-drawn spirals, toys, songs carved into wood. Not in fear, in faith. Faith that whoever or whatever is still watching knows it's being seen now, and that maybe when it's ready, it will release the rest. In a school in Eugene, a teacher plays a piece of audio before every art class. It's just a single line recorded by Maddie. "You don't have to believe it happened. Just don't let us disappear again." Back home, Kara tends a garden behind Lana's house. 4 rows, 1 for each family member. Each row marked with a flat stone and a word. Ben Shelter, Lana Memory, Kai Hope, Maddie Signal. She waters them each morning, then sits on the porch, and sometimes hums, very softly. So softly you wouldn't even hear unless you were standing right at the edge of the trees. Months passed, then a year. No new sightings, no more footage, but the story never left. It spread quietly like roots beneath earth, unseen but moving. First through forums, then into podcasts, then into libraries. In upstate New York, a group of high school students created a zine called The Listening Pines. They published testimonies from others who'd encountered spirals, quiet zones, or strange flashes in the woods. They didn't claim to know what happened. They just listened and gave space. A woman from Montana wrote in, "I saw a girl in a tree once. She wasn't afraid, but she didn't blink. I was 6. I still hummed the tune she was singing." A man from Wales wrote, "We called them watchers, but only my grandfather ever admitted they were real. He said they came not to hurt, but to remember." And every year on June 3rd at exactly 3:16 a.m., someone in the world lights a candle in the woods. They leave behind toys, notes, Polaroids, socks, spirals drawn in the dirt. And they whisper the same thing Kara said in the clearing. "We see you. Come home when it's safe." One morning, Kara received a voicemail from an unknown number. The message was short, a child's voice. "Thank you for the stories. We're getting closer. The place is quieter now." Click. No trace of the number, but Kara didn't panic. She simply saved it, labeled it Maddie number 2. She no longer looked for proof. She planted trees instead, 1 for each family gone missing in the Cascades over the last 50 years. 32 trees, each with a plaque. Not of names of words, light dark. Wait. Stay Alive Return. A documentary aired 2 years later, The Mountain That Remembers. It interviewed park rangers' search teams, camera and audio engineers who'd worked with the distorted 3-second video. It didn't claim answers, but it did ask one question. What if some places aren't broken? Just waiting for us to see them as whole again. In the closing shot, Kara walking through fog, a small red sock in her hand. She kneels, places it beside a pine cone, then stands and walks away, slowly. No rush, because some stories don't end. They just echo. If this story stayed with you, if it whispered something you didn't expect, then maybe it wasn't just a story. Share your thoughts below what part echoed loudest for you, like this video. If you believe some names should never fade, subscribe to Tim's Stories for more true narrative journeys of those who vanished, waited, and were remembered. Turn on notifications, the next echo might be closer than you think.